Oh, God, let me tell you this. Here it is. I'm on the steps of the Idaho State Capitol building. I'm Regina, proprietor, owner of Ray's Roast. And honey, I had a Queen's Blend this morning, and look where it got me. I started off in in Walla Walla, and now here I am in Boise on the steps of the Capitol. Queen's Blend, see where it takes you. Hello, 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 hello. Oh, my stars, here we are. I'm back. It's been a couple of weeks, is all. And gosh, I was like, if I don't get on here a little bit later than usual, I'm not going to make it this week either. That's because I'm going away in the morning. So let's take care of business, and then I'll tell you about the coffee and life in general. Whoops, that's the wrong deal to show. It was this one. Yeah, I am Regina, the proprietor of Ray's Roast Coffee here in Dayton, Washington, and we ship coffee all over the nation. Hey, Gracie and Simone. Good to see you all. And anyway, that's that. And yeah, I do the farmers market. I ship coffee. I do all kinds of stuff. And I got like 3 or 4 coffee shops that I supply coffee to as well. And so that is that for now. All I got to do is figure out how to get rid of it. And one thing about my show here is we are so loose that I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. So we got to do the banner thing, the whole, the deal. Subscribe, get notified, and like. Let's do this. And so there you have it. I mean, every channel on YouTube says that stuff. So anyway, so let's go back to the comments. And loose as a goose. Yes, indeed. I'm pretty loose today. I got nothing. So I'm just, I go in the hospital in the morning, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little concerned, and I won't be out until hopefully Wednesday afternoon. And so I might be able to do my support group on Wednesday evening, hopefully. And if not, I hope y'all meet anyway, because I'll leave the computer on in case somebody wants to do the Zoom. I got a new coffee here a couple weeks ago and haven't even put it on the website yet. Costa Rica. It's a natural, I think. God, I don't remember exactly. It's either a natural or a honey processed coffee, and it's just delightful. Nice, mild Costa Rican coffee, as most Costa Ricans are a little more milder, and so That's kind of why I like them. I think is there I do enjoy a good um, a little more acidic coffee that's a little brighter, and but I don't want to drink them all the time. But the Central American coffees, I can drink all day long and enjoy just so much enjoyment in a cup of coffee. That's a medium roast, and we'll be like featuring it down at the farmers market. Not this week because I don't have any time to roast coffee this week, but the following week we'll be featuring it. Um, Thanks, Simone. I appreciate that. Um, oh my gosh, how's Gracie too? Oh, that bra is kind of like uncomfortable. Oh, aren't we glad that we can wear one? Um, anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Good grief. I've got so much stuff that I need to get done today, and I think, oh good. Doing well. So how's your out and about show going? You still are doing that for a couple hours a day or just a couple hours a week? How's that working out? So cool, cool. Um, you fractured your toe? That hurts. I've done that several times. Hard to get out and walk. Yeah, no doubt. And Simone, are you in Eugene or Portland? Where are you at, honey? Oh, goodness gracious. So, like, we're trying to set a new time today. I don't think I've ever done it as late as 1:30. Was that about the time I started? It's 1:30 right now. So I started about 1:25. And I've never done it that late. I've gone to where I think we might have been at that time period, but usually I like to start a little bit earlier. And oh my, but I'm still looking to see what generates more people, because at 1 o'clock, after 1 o'clock, it's what on the East Coast, then it's 4 o'clock. And so that kind of helps out in the Eastern time zone, and so we're not quite so in the middle of the day and when everybody's at work and whatnot. So we'll figure it out. I mean, I'd still like to hit it so Europe gets a shot at me too. And oh, there's other folks in the chat room too. So join in. Love to love to find out who's all here. So, oh gosh, we did a nice show yesterday. I liked yesterday's show with Marty and her friends, and I thought it worked out pretty well. Worked out pretty well. I love the fact that I had that young person come up to my stall at the farmers market and say, "Hi, my name's River, and I changed and I'm non-binary now." And they were about 10 years old. And they went on to explain how the came up with the name River, and I had to say I liked it better because I could never remember. I've known that kid since they were 4 years old, thereabouts, and I could never could never remember their name. And now River is like, I have another older friend named River as well, who stopped by my booth, and I was telling River about the other River, and it was really kind of like sensitive, emotional moment. It was cool. It was cool, and I'm just glad to see that. And I talked to Mother too. She came by, and I said something to her about meeting River, and she was going, why didn't I see that before? It just makes so much sense, and which really, warmed me up too. Um, we're making progress, folks. We are making progress, and I am just thrilled with that. The fucking right wing backlash is just it's just bullshit, because it's being rejected by the voters all over the nation. The only people who want it are the ones who are trying to pass the laws, and it's just not working for them. So anyway, rapidly moving along. Since we covered that yesterday, I don't really want to talk about it today, but I don't really have anything to talk about. So if anybody wants to like jump in here and say, hey, could you talk about this? Feel free, because I'll talk about most anything, but not everything. Yeah, so I've got this whole hospital thing on my mind, and that's not doing me any good. I mean, hopefully the whole hospital thing will do me some good, but I'm really not thrilled about it. I want to be able to hike again. I walked downtown a little while ago, both blocks. and it wears me out. And it's level between here and the restaurant down there. And I just got nothing in the tank. I'm not getting enough oxygen, and even though I'm like at 90, 95 or better percentage oxygen in my blood, it's just not pumping fast enough to keep me strong. And so, it's problematic for this old gal that liked to do things. The weather sucks, and now it's supposed to turn off into the 80s by the end of the week. I am like loving the thought of that. So hopefully I can get out of the hospital, and instead of working like I should, I'll get out of the hospital and go play golf just to see if I'm any stronger. But I also imagine it's going to take a few days to recover, even though they're not going to break the skin or anything. And so I just don't know. I just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's not going to be any big deal. Or we hope it's not any kind of big deal. I guess when they go and stop your heart for any reason, it's kind of a semi-big deal. Big deal if they can't get it going again. Of course, I'll never know. So, I'm trying not to be fatalistic. I like to make jokes. Cold in Eugene. I would imagine, probably just as windy there, with cold wind blowing off the coast, and oh my stars. I don't know whether you get the wind there blowing off the coast because there's a ridge of hills there between you and the ocean, or wind that comes up the river valley. Rainy. We had the rain yesterday, and it's clouding up again. It's supposed to rain a little bit here this afternoon. It'll probably start raining when I'm about ready to go walk Tank. And I've got to walk Tank today, regardless, because he didn't get one yesterday. It was just so cold and miserable yesterday. God, didn't even get up over 40 degrees hardly, and the wind was blowing, howling, and I just did not want to go out and face that. Oh, you can say I dressed up a lot for today too, but I don't know. I don't know. So, so that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. Help me out here. Help me out. Oh, make Tank wear his galoshes. Don't you baby talk my dog. You come up here and talk smack to me, and then you talk so sweet to my dog. I can't believe it. It's hard to believe you can be so tender, Simone, to my dog, and then mean to me like everybody else. So I can't. I don't know. I got nothing. And then, the thing that's really kind of like struck me about all of this not being able to walk is how much weight I've gained because of it. Jesus, it's just horrible, horrible, horrible. All I want to do is sit around and eat now. And I used until about 2 or 3 months ago, I ate a good diet. And nowadays I am just like living off of junk food, it seems like. And it appears like I am too. Just I can't believe it. Cannot believe it. How I could go from years and years of being a slow cook. So the good news was I had asparagus, steamed asparagus, and fried mushrooms last night for dinner. Fried oyster mushrooms and steamed asparagus. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I had for dinner. Because I'd already had so much junk before, I was just stuffed anyway. So I thought, oh, do something healthy. And it was good though. And I've still got more of that oyster mushroom. That's the beauty for me in the farmer's market is I can go right to the grower and get mushrooms. And I got a bag of spinach. God, it was good to see people at the farmer's market. I've been a vendor now. This is the start of my third year. And I had to actually spend time in that little area that I'm in, walking around and giving everybody hugs and whatnot, because we hadn't seen each other all that often during the winter. And some of them I hadn't seen at all. And it was just marvelous. I really felt, part of the community and it's great to do the trading with everybody and making stuff happen. And it was a good day at the market. Saw a lot of my customers and it was just great, great, great. I really like doing that. So this is the way Simone talks to my dog. She loves Widow Tanky. And it is against the rules at my house to talk that way to my dog. Tank understands human talk. So, anyway, come on. Give me some question or something. Ask a question. Ask me a question about coffee. See if I can answer it. Gracie? Simone? Who else is here in the room? Baby talk is not human talk. Not even close. I remember once when my daughter started kindergarten, I was going to be the great person and help at the school, be a teacher's aide. And it was all volunteers at the time. And I was taking time out from farming to go in for an hour or two and assist the teacher. And I did not last long because she baby talked the kids, which I could shrug and leave that. But then she started baby talking me too. And I couldn't deal with that. Couldn't deal with it. Kind of, I don't know what it makes me think of. But if I couldn't have an adult conversation like this with her, no, I can't do this. That's just kind of the way I am, I guess. That's the way I roll. And anyway, well, everybody's pretty much leaving me here. So the Methodist Conference has decided, let me put that up there, can now be clergy. That is true, I guess. So, I have long been friends here locally with the Methodist minister, and we had a conversation about this several years ago when there was some issues going on, and I asked how it was going to affect the local church. Oh, excuse me. And she told me that the biggest problem was in around the world, not in this country, and the Methodists were huge outside of the United States. And I think that this Methodist conference is just the United States. Because I've talked a little bit with people about this, and I think it's just here in this country that the Methodist clergy can be LGBTQ plus, and so it's progress. That's all we can hope for is progress. I know that one of my friends, Gracie, has met Frankie, I think, is a Methodist clergy person and had to drop out of the clergy because of transitioning. And so Frankie is pretty excited about it. I've had a couple of conversations with Frankie, and so that's pretty cool. God, I just don't know why we can't all just be people and clergy can be whatever they want to be. I suppose that I'm just so short-sighted and to think for a moment that it would be that simple. Um, but I'd like to think that it a lot of what I've been reading lately has to do with Taoism, and I've been doing this deep dive into Taoism, and so and I don't think that I've really talked about it very much on here. Maybe I have, but I think both of you have heard me talk about it anyway. But if when we start labeling things, we put edges on it. So when we say something, um, when we label LGBTQ, then that makes it where everything, the way I understand it, everything is nature and nature is God. And so that's the essence of everything. But you start labeling things and it takes away from the essence and it puts you on the edge instead of in the middle. And so the less labels that we have, the better off we all are because we're closer to the essence. And that's the way I like to think, is if we don't use the words, some translations of the Tao Te Ching it talks about the 10,000 words and how limiting they are, and others it just kind of, that's the whole thing about really coming to understand something, is reading different translations of it, is what I'm finding out. And so I'm just kind of lost in how interesting that all is, and reading all the and reading up on all the translations, and I mean there's several. Let's see what this is. If you don't label, the person without the label is not represented. Well, now there is, that's interesting. But if you don't have labels, then everybody's equal and has a seat at the table anyway. So what's not to be represented? And so we can just keep going along there and finding, the flaws with this, because one of the ladies I have conversations with on Fridays, she said, well, what happened to loving everybody, and because I had said earlier that she needed to pick a side. And so if we're trying to be in the essence, it's harder to pick the side. And I had to agree with her and kind of back off on having, to pick that side. So, I learn as I go along here. And since then, I've kind of come to the conclusion that, yeah, you still need to speak up when something's wrong, because it's not going to fix itself. What we have to do is be able to accept everything as it is. And then if we want to do something to change that, is to work towards the change. Be the change you want to see. And I don't have a problem with that. Sometimes it gets hard to accept the way things are, but acceptance is not necessarily agreement with. Everything is as it should be, theoretically, but it's like the opposites are not in competition with each other. they complement each other. And so if you don't have this opposite, it's about balance in life. And so, you know, I get trying to explain this stuff the way that I see it, and it's really difficult. And some of this is hard concepts, even for me. And then when you have somebody explaining it, such as myself, then but the thing is, Simone, is just, if there are no labels, if there never were labels, then everybody would be represented because everybody is equal. That's all I'm trying to say. I mean, it's not that way. I get that. I get that loud and clear. But you're more of like in the reality of it than I am sometimes. A segment of the population that does not want diversity. And that's because of that always having those labels up to this point. If there hadn't have been labels in the beginning, if those words had never been thought of, then we wouldn't have that, the labels. And so everybody would have been equal. But we're always looking to find the differences so that we can be better. That's part of human nature. I personally don't think that should not have a gender at all on them. Are they getting ready to take gender off of driver's licenses? I hadn't heard that. Why do you need it on there? Just to be the devil's advocate. I mean, I don't understand why they're there anyway. Know what? So there's some interesting concepts, if you don't mind me saying. And so yeah. I'm what about the driver's license? Is there something happening here that I don't know about? Which state's taking that gender marker off? And why wouldn't that be okay? I don't know. I just always kind of think, why can't we just be who we are? Why can't I just be Regina without a gender marker? Why can't I just be? I mean, we have choices. There's being and non-being. And, since I'm a living, breathing animal, I get that opportunity to just be like the bees be or the deer be. And we really don't care too much about worker bees, for example, or birds or whatnot, whether they're male, female, or anything in between. And Oh, I thought you said that it would be bad if society didn't label or being age specific, there would be less prejudice. Amen. Amen. So, where was that? Where you said that you thought that there, I think it was this one. I personally don't think that drivers should not have a gender at all on them. That is a double negative, meaning that you think that the gender should be on there, is the way I read that. Forgive me if I'm wrong. The Living, Breathing Animal Show. That's me. I'm a living, breathing animal. Hallelujah. Step right up. Step right up. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. So how do we get rid of labels if we don't think that they should be on there? I mean, does it really help identify a person? You know, if we were to get stopped and we hand the dude our driver's license and there's no gender marker on there. What? How? That'd be interesting. That'd be an interesting concept. Should be some way of doing it, though. Oh, hi, Hannah Rose. Whoop. They don't really help except for medical purposes. Well, and, medically, that would kind of like work itself out if there was an accident, wouldn't it? Do they even um do they I don't know. I don't know. Labels have one important purpose in my mind. But beyond that, there's really no real use for it. And if we're not comatose or not injured so severely that we can't talk, then we should be able to relay specific needs to our healthcare team. I mean, right. And so this was okay. Yeah, no one else needs to care about it. But this is the whole point, but that's not the world we live in. And that's my goal, is to change it. You know, let's quit talking about label, or not quit talking. Let's start talking about labels. We don't need all the labels that there are out there. It gets us away from all of the good stuff that doesn't happen because we've labeled everything and put edges on it. It's the way I always read labels, is it puts an edge on things, and so you get out of the essence of it. You can't cross that edge or you'll be into a different label. And so anyway, yes, there you go. Be the change. So I'm losing my labels. I hope they all understand that. And hello, Hannah Rose. I am having a lovely day. And I hope you are as well. Um, Life is good. And this just about brings us, well, I can go a few more minutes. Kind of like it now that we've are making progress here with the conversation. Thanks, Simone, for and Hannah too for talking to me back to me about some of this a little bit. Because the more I talk about it, the more I understand that I don't know anything about it, and which is fine. You know, the other thing about Taoism is, you know, I like having conversations about this stuff. And God, what was I reading this morning? There was one translation of it says you talk about it, you don't know shit. And oh my God, you know, how unfair is that? How unfair if I can't talk about something because it shows that I don't know anything. Has anybody else run into that kind of attitude? Well, hi, Allison. Hope you are well today. It was a pleasure to see you the other day. Uh, so more thoughts on the Tao or on labels? Don't everybody speak at once. Whoa. I'll be darned. Um, I tend to not talk about subjects in public, too much controversy. What's your point? What we're trying to do is establish a safe place to talk about controversial topics where it's safe to talk about them. You know, civil discourse and oh, and Hannah like jumps in here too and says that. But you know, and I really appreciate you both saying this because that gets to the gist of what I would like to establish here is being able to have these conversations without it being a threat to anybody, you know, and because I don't want the world to see everything the way I do. I want there to be differences and be able to talk about those differences in a non-threatening way. And you know, I think that's really important in our society. Remember back in the day, you know, like say the 1870s when there was no television, no radio, no nothing. And the only place you went and got news was at the local hotel lounge, also known as the saloon. And so you went and to all these meetings and whatnot to talk about the events of the day. You know, there was a movie not too long ago that came out with Tom Hanks, was the dude that read the newspaper, and that same newspaper he would like ride around with it for a week or a month or however long it was, and reading it to uh, um, people as they didn't know how to read, and so you know there were differing opinions. Of course, we're all going to say about how in the Wild West people would get shot and whatnot, and they probably did. But um, but in a lot of respects, that was a healthier society than what we have now, where we go on Facebook and attack each other viciously and without civil discourse and making it where it's hard to go out and have a discussion. And that's kind of where I would like this channel to go, is to where we can start having discussions and maybe not see eye to eye and still be able to talk about it civilly, if that makes any sense. Labels, labels, labels. So Allison's still learning about labels. Stick around. We are always talking about labels here. I think I already showed that. Show this. That's what is doing current conservatives, trying to equate drag queens with all trans women. Yeah, labels, labels, labels. And Allison, being my age, you're not as old as I am, Allison. I thought we were all good. Speaking about all good, everything has gotten so much more complicated since the Trump years. Amen. So there was something that came up yesterday in the chat on Marty's show, and it was called Free to Be You and Me, the original broadcast, and a link had been posted, and this was from 1974. And I started watching some of that, and that was really a good show for those times. It's so quality is not very good of the picture, and so I don't want to show any of it here, but very interesting in how liberal we all were back in those days. And that was 10 years after Stonewall. And so it really wasn't safe for trans women to be out there, and we've come a long way since then. So it's interesting. So that really took root, although at the time that came out, I'd never even heard about it until yesterday. And the only cartoon I remember back from the 70s, early 70s, was The Point, with that Harry Nielsen and Oblio and Arrow going into the pointless forest. And yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. And I love this. I have long said that we've lost ground. And what Hannah got to say, it does make sense. Discussing things without fear. Where I find difficulty is when people start making assertions about how others should be, rather than talking about what is right for self. And precisely why I love being a Taoist is because let people be, they're right where they're supposed to be, and I just have to accept them the way they are. No questions, just accept and have that conversation. So thank you, Hannah. And so yes, that's is, and so there was a Free to Be Me album, or Free to Be. the music album, I think, is actually what Lenny was talking about yesterday. And I ended up watching I don't think I could do the album. Doesn't have enough weight, enough Jimi Hendrix in it. No Janis Joplin. But yeah, I'm kind of like in the middle of a Dustin Hoffman reading of some kind. And the opening thing was like a couple of puppets of babies that were talking about whether they were boys or girls, and they had it all backwards, and it was really quite cute and really pertinent to where many of us have come from. So I don't know. Life is so good, to make these discoveries of things that happened back that helped us get to where we are today, that helped those folks who had to transition earlier in life, like Simone and I mean, stuff like that helped. And so that's huge. So thanks for sharing your insights on that, Simone. And I can't believe sometimes how much I have learned from doing these shows, both here on this channel and on Marty's channel. And then I've like created this network of people around the world that I talk to on a pretty regular basis. And I'm always shocked by that, because I grew up as kind of a loner and whatnot, and all through my early adulthood on the farm and whatnot, and didn't really care to be around people, didn't want to be. Come find out, I was, that's the way a lot of us were who came out later in life. So, I hope. But that gets back to the story of River, where that made me feel like Little River coming up to me and talking to me about where they were at with gender, made me think how worth what I do, because sometimes I question, am I really helping at all? Am I, is this, and it's just fabulous. It makes it all worthwhile. So anyway, we're getting close to an hour. Anybody got any final thoughts they want me to carry on with this week? Maybe I can come back. Maybe I should think on Thursday about coming and doing at least a quick show to let you all know that I'm alive and well after my venture to the hospital. Did I show this? Discussing things without fear? Yeah, I think I did. It does matter. And here we are. I actually went into the thrift store here in Dayton today. And that's, oh my, look at this. My father just turned 100 years old. We had a marvelous conversation the other day about how seamlessly gay and trans people integrated in our small town family. My parents never made a big deal. Wonderful. Wow, wow, that's great, Allison. Thank you so much for putting that up. Thank you. Hey, thanks, Gracie. Thanks for popping in, and hopefully we can all do this. We can do our gender thing tomorrow night. Wednesday night, and I'll be able to be there. So yeah. So without any further ado, I think that I'm gonna like shut her down and go out in the yard and pick up dog turds. You know, I think they were simply our friends who lived, and I love it. Without labels, probably. So, on that note, let's just shut this down and call it a day and be happy that and that we've got this safe place to come and chit chat and have conversations and talk baby talk to Tank and and enjoy each other to the best of our abilities. So I love you all, and there ain't nothing you can do about that. And so y'all take care, and hopefully I'll see you again at the same time. I never do anything at the same time, but same channel, and so good to see y'all. Thank you.